What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video, and today we're going to be talking about something that makes people feel a certain type of way, for lack of a better word, defense in Dragon Ball. And specifically because I've actually made a video about defense before, about why I think defense is a lot better in Dragon Ball than people give the game credit for. So we're actually gonna switch this a little bit and talk about why people feel like defense is bad. Like, what is the issue? Because that's such a weird disconnect if you think about it, right? Like, if you look at the individual defensive options in the game, you would think that the options are good, but people still feel like they're bad. So let's take a look at it. So primarily, the main things we have are, like, we have Reflect, we have Guard Cancel here. Those are probably two of the biggest ones. You have, of course, you have your Vanish, and then you have all your knockdown options. So the main thing about this game, if I had to make this a very short video, the main thing about this game is that despite the defensive options being so strong, the risk return is very skewed on them. So what do I mean? So for example, let's take this. Okay. So let's reflect this. Right? Reflect is very high return, as we know. Especially if you have your punishes prepared. This is obviously not a punish, right? But just for the sake of example, like, if you have that punish ready, then you can do a significant amount of damage for reflecting. Not just that too, but of course, like, let's say your character's dying, a successful reflect can mean your character gets out, and that character can get their life back. Of course, we're talking about tag on top of this, so your tag might lead into a combo, which is quite funny if you think about it, right? But if they reflect, right, and it is red, this can happen. So despite that reflect leading to a combo or swapping characters successfully, if the reflect is baited somehow or red or covered, because there are ways to just cover it, like you can activate it but the opponent can stay in, that exists in the game, you the person who tried to do it, take a lot of damage. Guard Cancel is very similar too, so if you take Guard Cancel, right, so whoops. Actually, let's do it like this. Yeah. So, whoops, I didn't call him right. So of course, Guard Cancel is a way. It's a option you can do from block stun. It's a way you could swap characters out from block stun, and you can use it to escape some mix-ups from block stuns, right? But if someone baits you somehow, either like waiting. So for example, maybe this should be enough. Oh wow, I missed. Oh, it's Guard Cancel. What am I doing? If someone waits, it's over. Like, Guard Cancel is more punishable than previous versions of the game, and similarly to baiting or reflect, you will take massive damage. So again, it goes back to a point that the defense in this game and the defensive options the game gives you are they're very powerful, because the return you get from all of them is high. They're generally hard to cover, and usually the attacker has to make, not always, but usually has to make some type of concession to deal with that defensive option. It's why people don't like snaps, for example, because when you get snapped in, since you come in from the air, you basically have nothing besides Spark and Guard Cancel Spark. As opposed to when you're on the ground, you have Guard Cancel Reflect. When you get knocked down, you have like various tech timings you could do to vary up your timing or whatever. So since it's contextual options, like you have to recognize when to do it and then do it, when it's used wrong, you take a lot of damage. Thus, if you don't have a lot of experience in the game, you just think, it's bad, the defense is bad, I want better defensive options. It's half on the game, half on you. it's partly the game's fault because the risk return is really out of control. Like, it is crazy that you can do this, and depending on what happens, either you get like some fat punish, you get to go from losing to potentially winning the game from swapping characters. It's also crazy that you could whiff this one time and die. It's why I kind of feel like my very common scenario is this, right? Okay, is this. That's safe jump. Safe jump, very common fighting game technique to cover reversals, right? Things like that. I'm going to be safe there. But I could push you off if I had wake up reflect timing. I could just push you off and just negate the setup to safe jump totally. But at the same time, all it would take would be for them to just not press that button one time. One time. Bardock, point Bardock on most teams. If he hits you first with 0 bars, he's not really put in a 2-touch situation. But if you whiff that reflect on wake up, he's gonna immediately 2-on you and kill you. He's just gonna kill you. So it goes to say that like the risk return is high. Same with guard cancel. So guard cancel actually is not that risky. It really depends on what character you have, and the return of course is high. You get out of an offense. You avoid mix-ups in the cases like, for example, let's just set up a simple one. Okay, so in the case of like a simple one, you know they're trying to do it, boom, and their assist is gone on top of that. If they bait you though, it's over, right? It's over. They're gonna block, punish with a medium, and you will take massive, 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 massive damage. This is very common in Dragon Ball overall, but it comes out a lot on defense, so I get it. So what you guys have to do is learn how to use the options better, so that, and then when you do use it, just know that you have to be okay with taking that risk, because that's just the way the game works. That's the nature of the game. When you use these options, like defensive super dash would be like another one, right? So take like this, okay, right? Dragon Rush pretty hard to defend against, right? You could practice teching it normally, but some people actually use super dash to tech it. But all it would take would be just a slightly delayed button press, and your life will end, right? But you have to be okay with it. You have to be okay with it, because, like I said, that's just the nature of the game. For better or for worse, when you pick these options that aren't, let's say, safe, right? There's just risk attached to it. The return is really high, that's why you like using it when it works, but the risk is there too, and that's why you feel bad, or really bad, when it doesn't work. Now, one thing I will say about Dragon Ball is that the game doesn't give you, I don't want to say any, but the game doesn't do a good job giving you passive defensive options. So this is stuff like defaultless defense in Guilty Gear or the instant block. But the game is made with that in mind, right? Like, it's made with that in mind. Like, you can, your main options, if you want to pick passive defensive options, honestly, is to quite literally sit here or try to like jump out at like a safe spot, right? Those are your main things. A mid-screen backdash is there. Backdash is not invincible, so you know you can be hit out of it, but it's fast, so you can slip out of a lot of moves. That being said, the game doesn't have a lot of passive defensive options. A lot of them are active, direct engagement, high risk, high return options. They're very good when used properly and can literally change the pace of a match when you use them the right way. When you use them the wrong way, your life bar will melt and you will lose characters quickly. But I don't think that is a reason why you can say that the game's defense is bad, because those options are so strong, if that makes sense. Let me know what your opinion is about the defensive options in this game in the comments below. Like or subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time.